Hello! Yes, this is when I had time to film a bunch of videos in a row. So we're ready for a little more legal tea. Today we got a vanilla chai on the menu from Twinings. And we are going to talk about, in the legal realm world, the case of Donna Adelson. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce it because it's been pronounced both ways. I'm probably going to go with Adelson for most of it. And just for transparency's sake, I am a legal law aficionado. I do not use this in my profession. I do not have any official certifications or anything, but I am literate enough to be able to read documentations and just kind of give you some summaries and overviews for cases, kind of a catch-up thing. There are lots of other people who are actual lawyers who have whole giant videos and streams about this. If you're interested, I will link to at least one that I prefer myself below, Emily D. Baker. I'm going to make some references to her videos a couple times too. But I am an aficionado, just trying to share my curiosity and hobby interest with you. Not trying to come off as a lawyer or somebody with any kind of legal advice. I'm just telling you facts and things as they have been presented, again, in a summary form. Just need to get that out of the way. So we're going to talk about Donna Adelson. Donna Adelson has been charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and a few other things that get tacked on with unaliving charges. So this was a custody battle gone wrong. Family court is one of the most dangerous courts, and if you're wondering how is family court, like custody cases, dangerous, it's because not only is there a lot of just spite and vile between family members, but they don't get, unlike people who have been charged with murder or other dangerous acts, they're not arrested and shackled and escorted by police when they go to court. They're just open-handed, allowed to go into courtrooms. And it doesn't behoove anybody. Please listen to me. This is not legal advice. This is moral advice. Unaliving your partner or your child's ex-partner, if you're a grandparent, is not going to behoove the children and grandchildren that you claim to love so much, who you want custody of, who you want to be with you. You're not going to get that through unaliving somebody. You're just going to give your supposed loved ones lifelong trauma. And the court systems, when it comes to children or anybody, they are not given access to mental health care needs. Like, they are not given counseling or therapy or anything through the court system. So you're just traumatizing children at a young age for lifelong horrors, and you're keeping yourself from being able to see them. Whatever your goal is, unaliving somebody is going to do the opposite. I'm trying to have a serious conversation, and that's happening. Our case takes place in Florida, specifically Tallahassee, Florida, where Dan Markle, a law professor, was found shot in his head in his vehicle and the driveway in his vehicle by a neighbor who called 911. He succumbed to his injuries in the hospital several hours later. During that time, his then wife, Wendy, had reported that she speculated that that was done on her behalf. Who are the people who do things on someone's behalf? Lovers and family members. Friends to a light degree, but I think that asking your bestie it's possible. Friendships can be strong. When somebody's doing something on your behalf, they're close to you. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's what she had come down with. He was found on Saturday, July 18th, 2014. Dan and Wendy were getting divorced. And where the custody battle goes wrong is that Wendy wanted to move to Miami, Florida. For those of you who do not understand Florida cities, Tallahassee is in northern Florida. Miami is in southern Florida. It's a very long distance away. And she wanted to move closer to her family, Donna Adelson, Harvey Adelson, and Charlie Adelson. her mother, father, brother, respectively. But the court system, the custody court system, said that she couldn't move their two sons, Dana and Wendy's two sons, to southern Florida without his consent. And he did not consent. He's like, no, you're not taking my kids anywhere. So he was given primary custody, and the children for schooling and that were listed for their primary residence was going to be in Tallahassee. And there's a lot of text message evidence that was revealed from Wendy to Donna. Donna was mad. Donna called him an F word, that they were going to go after him. They knew where his weaknesses were. I will link to everything below so you can check up on that. And Wendy received limited immunity for her testimony, in which she had said that when she had told her family, specifically her mother and father, about what the court had decided, they were ticked. The reason why this matters in reference to Donna Adelson is because it all gets connected. Even though in her testimony later, Wendy said, oh no, my family had nothing to do with this. Like, my brother joked about unaliving my ex as a divorce gift, but he bought me a TV instead. Sure. It's the list of oddities just keep going. So let's start with oddity number 1. So he dies, he being Dan, passes away in the hospital very late at night on Saturday, July 18th. They have a memorial service set up and ready to go on the 19th. Now, having a memorial service the day after or a couple days after something happens isn't super unusual in and of itself. But investigators caught up to Wendy and her family, and they were like, hey, we're going to need to ask you some questions. We'll probably be in contact with you the next couple days, so try to stick around. And then Wendy was already lawyered up. Now, Wendy is a lawyer herself. She already had a lawyer, like, in the wings ready to call investigators and go, yeah, they're not going to meet up with you to talk with you. They're already on their way back to South Florida. So, and that was on Monday, the 20th. So, in 2 days, Wendy's lawyered up. She's already ready to move her kids with her parents to South Florida, and they have evaded talking to officers. The other odd thing that comes up in this is that investigators report that there weren't any questions from the Adelsons, from Wendy or otherwise. Maybe the kids were interested, but they don't have legal precedence. But none of the family had contacted the investigators about any updates. Hey, is there anything that's going on? Is there anything happening? You know, there is no desperate answers for loved ones or, oh, who could have done this? They were just like, well, that's unfortunate. Bye! The PACER number file for this is 2023CF 3226A. Well, it doesn't take long for all of this to unravel. The gunmen were quickly identified and revealed as Luis Rivera and Sefrido Garcia. They have a relation. Luis Rivera was a friend of Garcia's. Garcia is an ex or was a current boyfriend of Catherine Magbuena. Catherine Magbuena was the person who acted as the middle person between the Adelsons and the gunmen. She was paid a portion of money and given a no-show job at the Adelsons dentist company and already tried as well. They were all convicted, and then Charlie Adelson's infamous case came. But wait, after he was charged and convicted, this is when the Adelsons started panicking because Catherine Magbuena had really let it out. She was also given lesser charges and some limited protections for her cooperation. And it was also determined that she was just acting as the middle contact. She didn't have a whole lot, etc. to do with that, but she's still a vital member of this happening. But she wasn't the one who did the thing. She wasn't the one who planned the thing. However, just because you are not the doer of a crime, okay, just because you are not the person wielding the knife, you are not the person pulling the trigger, you are not the person mixing and serving a poisoned drink to a victim, does not mean that you will be exonerated from being charged with unaliving somebody. Okay? You can still be charged with those things, even if you are not the one doing the deed physically yourself. So Donna ends up kind of going a little bit panicky after Charlie gets convicted. She has a recorded 25-minute call, which I will link below, that you can listen to, where she starts saying things about unaliving herself and going to a non-extradition country, maybe Vietnam or somewhere. Those are her words on a recorded jail call that she knew was recorded to Charlie Adelson. That's going to come up for multiple reasons later. Also, shortly after they moved to Miami, Florida, Wendy had her children's surname changed from Markle to Adelson. It just adds to the oddities. Like, they were really just trying to remove Dan from their existence entirely. They didn't want any remnants of him in their lives at all. Part of the things that had tracked Donna was because she was one of the main people who communicated and Charlie with Catherine and Garcia the day of the murder. I will put in some excerpts here and in the link below to the affidavit of just the list of calls of how often communication was happening between this group of people. And then suddenly at the time of the shooting, nothing. In the words of Emily D. Baker, sometimes it's the unusual lack of activity of a cell phone during the time of a criminal act happening that's telling. Catherine was paid over $100,000 for her part in this, and that she split it between Garcia and Rivera. This was through multiple people's testimonies, and I'm not making this up. I will put the excerpt here and below if you want to read it more for yourself. But Meg Buana has claimed that the money that she was given was cash that had been washed. Like, physically water detergent washed. Because the money was stapled together in stacks of $1,000 that were in her trunk, and that the bills were wet and moldy. Because Donna Adelson, who was the one who did this, doesn't understand that that is not what money laundering means. It's not physically cleaning cash bills. I mentioned that recorded jail call that I linked below. This came up when on November 13th, 2023, almost 10 years after Dan Markle passed away, she was arrested in an airport with a one-way ticket to Vietnam. Look at this face. Is that the look of a person who's like, what's going on? Why am I getting arrested? I've done nothing wrong. Not to me. To FCA, that is the look of somebody who is upset that they almost got away with it, that their escape was thwarted, and they're ticked. She continues, like, when you watch the whole video, she still acts like she's in charge somehow. She has the audacity to be like, no, my lawyer said you're not allowed to take my phone. No, let go of me. You can't do this to us. No, you can't make him leave. He's this old. She still tries to run things. It's kind of a mess. And Harvey continues to stand up like, no, she doesn't want you to take her phone. The police don't care what you want when you're getting arrested for unaliving another person. A slew of trials take place after this. The first one being that her lawyer is going to get yeeted because look at this judge's face. Does this look like a judge who's pleased? Any and all court trial things can be found on Court TV or Law and Crimes YouTube channels. You just have to look them up on their specific things and it will give you all you need. But the judge was not pleased when he found out that Donna Adelson's attorney, Rashbaum, is her son's current acting attorney as well. This poses a conflict of interest Because if the lawyer's trying to represent Donna, Donna's best defense is to throw Charlie under the bus. But none of the proper forms had been filled out. They needed to both waive rights with the attorney to let him be Donna's attorney. And this was Donna's face. She was flabbergasted and, again, super ticked off that Charlie didn't fall in line. He didn't waive his rights to attorney-client privilege to allow Donna to have Rashbaum as her attorney. So he got yeeted. He says he quit. The courts were like, we were going to get rid of you anyway. But either way, he was taken off of the case because you can't have a lawyer for two clients in separate cases that are going to be pitted against each other. A lawyer can't put their client on the stand to cross-examine them. It goes against everything they were already doing. And Donna wasn't happy that she didn't get her way. Her lawyers continued to argue in another trial that she was getting mistreated and given cruel and unusual punishment in jail. She was put in solitary confinement. She was given limited or nothing to wear, forced to sit naked on a mattress, and that she was not given any utensils to eat her food, and she was denied medication. I will say that I have a problem with the entire jail system because it is supposed to be there it is there to punish and reform. You know, it's adult timeout. You didn't behave the way you needed to in public, and so you don't get to be in public anymore. I understand that. But if you want those people to come back acting as reformed, ready to be good citizens again, you cannot treat them like they're not humans while they're in jail. And the number of reports of people not given or passing away in jail systems or prison systems because they were not given necessary medication through those programs or through those systems is ridiculous. Give people their darn medicine, okay? However, on the other side of that, it is because of that 25-minute phone call where Donna had said that she was considering ending herself. There were several other statements of her saying that she didn't want to live anymore, that she could just unalive herself, that she was put in solitary confinement. Because when you make those kind of threats, because there is an act of protection, they have to put you not with other people to limit your access to things that you can use to hurt yourself. And that's also why she was not given clothing at some points, is because people can use clothing and sheets to unalive themselves via suffocation. So you are not given access to things that you can use to harm yourself. So if they see you making things, using your clothes to do that, they will get taken from you, and they can get taken from you. You have no rights and no privacy, and you have nothing, no sense of anything when you are in the jail system. When you are in jail, you are just subjected to jail treatment. And she was also not given utensils because, of course, we're not going to give you a fork or a knife when you've threatened to unalive yourself. That's just common sense. So, yes, she was made to eat, which I'm sure was unpleasant jail food. Jail food has never been reported to be good. Nobody goes to jail for the cuisine. But, yeah, you are going to have to eat that with your hands and mouth alone because we're not going to give you utensils to hurt yourself. But because of this treatment in jail, her lawyers had tried to say that she needed to be put on house arrest, and also that the way the jail system was working, they were purposefully keeping the client from being able to communicate with her. But that was all denied. Judge Everett wasn't having any of it. Again, he was making this face a lot. It's not just that this was a convenient screenshot. He was doing this a lot. This just was kind of his resting judge face. By the way, this face was made when Donna, just yelled in court, "Oh my God," when the other lawyers were saying, no, she needs to be denied house arrest and left in the system because of her unaliving things with sleeping pills, is what was specifically mentioned. it's best just to keep your right to remain silent when you're a defendant, and it's also just improper to just speak out in the middle of the courtroom when you're the defendant. There's a way to communicate in courtroom, and outbursts are not it, Donna. All of these file numbers are file 20832291. Also under that 2023 CF 3226A. So there's like the main file number, the main case number, and then file numbers under that are affiliated with motions to the case. So her other lawyers have gotten yeeted for similar reasons. You know, it just gives it the look of impropriety. It just looks bad. It gives people the ick. Like, that was your son's lawyer who now has to be against you to make, yeah, no, it just doesn't look good for anybody. And the conflict of interest, as aforementioned. So then she had a whole thing recently in October of 2024, October 5th, 2024, because she wanted a smaller courtroom based on what happened in Charlie's case. She wants to restrict the number of people that can be in the gallery, trying to keep it to a small venue so that only her family mostly can be in the gallery or in the audience. Anybody can walk into a courtroom and sit in the gallery and just watch court happen. People do it all the time. I learned that a few years ago and I was shocked by that. But because in Charlie's case, someone had taken a photo from the gallery of a note that Charlie was passing to his lawyer, because that's how you're allowed to communicate with your lawyer during court, is writing notes to not disrupt anything else is going on. And so because somebody had taken a photo, she wanted fewer people, or as few people in the courtroom as possible, to prevent similar things from happening. People, behave like your mother's watching, okay? Or whoever raised you. Behave like you want that person to be proud of you in public, okay? Or just yourself. Behave for yourself. Show that you have social decorum and follow the rules. And that file number is 204-34606. So to wrap this all up, as the sun is going down and I have to go do things with my no watch, the upcoming things that June 3rd through the 6th are the planned jury selection days of 2025. And then the actual opening statements are set to begin on June 8th or 9th. This is because they need to, they have the jury selection process, then they need a couple days, the court system is they need a couple days to tell the selected jurors that they were selected and give those jurors a chance to put in notifications to work, make arrangements for children and pets, since they will not be home or being able to do their normal routines and schedules. As for X number of weeks, they are going to be sitting in court for 8 hours a day. And also making any lunch arrangements, saying if they have any allergy or dietary needs, like, hey, I need to take medicine. Chances are, if you have a weird medicine schedule, you're probably not going to get selected for jury, just because the court don't have time for that. And that is the summary of where we are with Donna Adelson. Like I said, everything will be linked below. Thank you for going on this legal journey with me. I am just interested in this case. Let me know if you're interested in the case, if there's anything that you found particularly interesting about it. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye.